Hey, what's up, everyone? It's me, Dre. I wanted to talk about the game with the Redskins and the Bears. Now, it was a close game. Finally got our first road win, but more importantly, and I'll talk about this in a few moments, but let's just kind of jump into this now. With this game, 24 to 21, a little bit closer than what I had hoped for. I'm not necessarily expecting a blowout, but we did have them on the ropes. And of course, just like with the previous 2 or 3 weeks, Will Blackman is beaten for a long pass and a touchdown. So that kind of dashed the hopes of uh, laying a goose egg on the opponent. But a win is a win, so don't get me wrong. And I know a lot of Redskins fans are like, well, why can't you just take the win for what it is? But when I look at the way we play, I look at how the Eagles beat their opponent, which we had difficulty with. When I'm looking at how the Giants played last night against Miami, our first loss of the season, it's clear to see that we still have a long way to go. Defense was pretty solid, although allowing the Bears back into the game hurt us. Offensively, I think Kirk Cousins had some good plays. He had a boneheaded play where he didn't see the defender underneath, and he was trying to get the ball to Garcon, and the ball got picked off, so that killed the momentum. We were able to shut the Bears down. I think actually they scored. We got a turnover on a fumble, but we weren't able to capitalize on it. And again, with Redskins fans saying enjoy the win, one of the things that we need to think about is the fact that good teams can capitalize on turnovers. And when an offense gets on the field, you have Sean McVay calling these plain vanilla offenses, and we're so predictable that defenses are snuffing it out. So for all of the turnovers that we've gotten over the past couple weeks, the only thing we have to show for it is a mere 3 points. And we've gotten quite a few turnovers, so our differential for that is actually pretty well. However, we're not getting points and making the teams pay for their mistakes. And they're getting that sigh of relief because they get another possession when we punt the ball. But overall, Jordan Reed had a monster day. So he had about nine catches for 109 yards, something like that. So for fantasy league players, he's definitely picking up a lot of momentum as one of those go-to tight ends. And I'm proud of him. Garcon didn't have much. Deshaun Jackson, he had a couple of catches, but didn't really amount to much. No scores for him. One of the things that really almost brought a tear to my eye was the fact that after all of these games, 13 games, Alfred Morris finally scored a damn touchdown on a rushing play. It was kind of a gimme because we were at the goal line, but it was good to see number 46 score that touchdown. He's been frustrated all season, the way that they've been handling him and not giving or trusting him with the ball. I think it's a disservice because he is a workhorse. He's more reliable with the ball. Unfortunately, it just hasn't panned out this season. And unfortunately, since Jay Gruden came to the team, you see a dip in his production, and that's pretty troubling to me because we can come up with an offensive scheme that will work for him. Yes, he had more success with his own blocking scheme when Shanahan installed it, but Alfred Morris can easily adapt, and that's just something we haven't made him the centerpiece of the offense. And I've always said that he could have been the centerpiece more so than RG3, because if we can lean on him like the Vikings do with Adrian Peterson, where you have that one-star running back that teams have to account for, you can have a so-so quarterback that can make plays. And teams are going to focus more on putting more men in the box to stop the run, and that opens up things for the pass. So we don't have that. So now we don't really have a centerpiece in the passing game because Deshaun Jackson, he's been dinged up. In this game, he hurt his knee, so he wasn't full go. And teams, because he's small, a lot of teams are blanketing him, they're jamming him. If he gets off the jam, he can easily get behind the defender, but that's neither here nor there. And we're really not using Jordan Reed to his potential because we can easily exploit the middle of the field. We did lose Derek Carrier, so he's injured his knee. It was a terrible play. I saw it in slow motion. It made me cringe. But he's out for the season, and we just signed a tight end from the Cincinnati Bengals. So we'll see if he's able to participate in this upcoming game against the Bills. Now, when it comes to our defense, again, our defense was solid. For the most part, we were able to shut down the running game. I really had some concerns with Matt Forte, but Alshon Jeffries, he was more of the concern. Him and Zach Miller, the tight end. But Alshon Jeffrey, even when Brandon Marshall was with the Bears, and I made my video a few years ago, I said Brandon Marshall, he's a big receiver. Worry about him, yes, but looking at the stats from previous games at that time, I saw that Alshon Jeffrey was making a lot more plays, and he's really the one that you have to worry about. So he had a lot of good plays. He had a 51-yard reception where we had them pinned deep, and because of the zone coverage, Will Blackman had him first, and he was supposed to pass him off to Quentin Dunbar, but that gap of space, Quentin Dunbar was late getting on his man. So there was a problem there. They didn't get much out of it, but that one big play breathed new life into the Bears offense. We couldn't really get too much pressure on Jay Cutler. There's a lot of times where he was stepping up in the pocket and avoiding or evading getting sacked. I know Trent Murphy was able to get the sack and strip in one instance, so good job, number 93. But overall, it was a tight game, and when we have those kind of games, we're always hopeful that we can pull it through, but clenching your ass cheeks with every bit of might that you have with these kind of games is something that we shouldn't have to deal with. We should be able to put teams away, and the Bears are a decent team, but then again, so are we, and there's no reason why we can't be perceived as such. Being in a three-way tie with the Eagles and Giants, we still can't get the respect from experts, and the only ones that really believe in Redskins Nation are Redskins fans. And that's always good to be optimistic, but from a realistic standpoint, we can do this. I mean, we could have beaten the Cowboys, which still stings, but we get them the last game of the season. But now we have the Bears coming up, which they have a solid defense. One of the biggest concerns that I have going up against the Bills is the fact that they have Tyrod Taylor. If he's starting, he's a rookie quarterback, and he's made some things happen. However, the biggest concern that I have with him is that he can make plays with his legs, and when we overcommit to trying to rush from the outside, if the middle opens up, Tyrod Taylor can take off, and that's where we've always had problems with scrambling quarterbacks. And this could be a difficult game simply because the last thing we need is for us to lose and damage our ratings in the NFC East. I'm not so much worried about making it to the playoffs as I am just about winning this next game. But it's going to be a tough game. We have to keep an eye on Sammy Watkins. I don't know too much about their tight end group, but Sammy Watkins, he's been making some things happen. I think if we can play him tough, we can shut things down. We have LaShawn McCoy. He's good with the run, but also he can catch out of the backfield. So if we can mirror him closely, I think this could be a game that we can take. Defensively, they're strong. They have a good pass rush with Mario Williams. But if Kirk Cousins can make good decisions, get the ball out of his hands quickly, and we can establish some sort of running game, I think we will do well. I think the Bills have a pretty decent run defense, but I still think we need to lean on that run, and if we can convert on third downs, I think we'll do fine. But this is going to be a tough game. But as far as with the Bears, I'm glad that we won. I try to see the optimism and pessimism of both sides because there's just a lot of things that we're doing as a team that separate us from being one of the great teams. And again, when we're looking at the three-way tie that we have with the Eagles and Giants, the experts are picking the Giants, especially the way they beat the Miami Dolphins and the way the Dolphins beat us. They're picking the Giants to handle us, even though we've beaten the Giants, although they kicked our ass the first time. And the Eagles, we still have another game with them after the Bills, and they've been coming on strong. So a lot of it's going to hinge on these next two games in particular to determine if we take the NFC East. And again, that's really not all too much of a concern for me, as it is just winning. We need to win and improve our standing because right now, being 6-7, it would be nice to end the season on a positive note. 9-7 sounds a lot better than 8-8 or 7-9. Anyway, if you like this video, hope that you like, subscribe, and share. To my Redskins family, hail to the Redskins.